Officer Glinowitz is the 22nd law enforcement officer that has been shot and killed so far this year. Wicomico County Sheriff Mike Lewis says these recent attacks highlight an alarming trend that law enforcement officers around the country are under siege. He joins us now. For so many years, for ages, the badge has always been a sign of respect, a sign of pride. It seems as though now the badge that you're wearing often becomes a target.
It certainly has become a target. I just put an email out yesterday to all Wicomico County Sheriff's Office personnel to discontinue wearing anything that would affiliate them or associate them with law enforcement while off duty, to protect themselves, to protect their families. I've never seen it like this, Leland. It's a scary, scary time for law enforcement in this country. It truly is.
What has changed in America from when kids were growing up saying, I want to be a police officer when I grow up, to now all of a sudden young kids chanting in the streets about what we just saw from a rally in Minnesota, what they were chanting? Go ahead and take a listen.
Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. Pigs in a blanket.
It should be noted that if you look in the front of that video, there's a police officer who's risking his own life to lead these protesters, but we'll forget that for a moment. What's changed in America?
I think there's a complete lack of accountability with this generation that's coming up today. Complete lack of accountability. Kids are allowed to do exactly what they want to do, and once you're allowed to do what you want to do, you're going to do what you want to do, and there's just no accountability today. We see it all the time. We respond to calls in the middle of the night. You can go to a home 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there are kids up on a weeknight, sitting up watching TV, eating snacks out of bags on the sofa, knowing they have to be in school.
And their parents just aren't doing anything about it.
No, they're doing nothing about it. Most of the time, the parents are out on the street.
That's a scary thought. Where does this end, or does it?
I tell you, we don't know what's going to happen. We are looking at everything right now. You know, there's a very interesting dichotomy out there today with what's going on in our country. On one side, we have, I think, the overwhelming majority of people who are supporting law enforcement. But you've got a certain segment of society that are very defiant. They hate law enforcement. And this Black Lives Matter movement has perpetuated the violence we've seen here lately. And I tell you what we've got. We've got police officers right now who are hesitating to do their jobs and hesitating to use deadly force. And when you hesitate, you die. There's cemeteries across this country that are full of great cops who hesitated to pull that trigger, and they've died. On the other hand, you've got police officers now. They're going to have a hair trigger. They're going to pull that trigger in an instant because they don't want to die.
And they realize what happened to that officer down in Texas, whose funeral we're watching right now, could very easily happen to them. You brought up Black Lives Matter, and down in Texas, after the funeral for the deputy sheriff that was killed there, the sheriff there was very strong about it shouldn't be Black Lives Matter or Cops Lives Matter, it should be all lives matter.
Absolutely.
And take a listen to what one of the organizers of Black Lives Matter had to say about that thought.
When people say all lives matter, it's actually a violent statement, because the only time that people say all lives matter is in opposition to Black Lives Matter. And it's the most violent statement of love that you can do.
I want to ask you what violent statement of love means, but the concept that you're going to say one type of life matters more than another type of life matters seems antithetical to the idea of having peace on our streets.
That's a racist, ludicrous statement he just made right there. There's no question about that. All lives do matter, but that's a very ludicrous and racist statement just made right there.
What is that doing, you think, to kids who are on the streets? Is it perpetuating this idea of it's us against them rather than officers here to help?
Clearly, that's what it's doing. You bet it is. You bet it is.
All right, we'll leave it there. Sheriff Mike Lewis, Wicomico County, Maryland, we appreciate you coming in. We met on the streets of Baltimore, where you and your men came up and risked their lives and your life as well to try to keep some peace there. Appreciate your service then and now, and my best to your men.
Thank you, Leland. Thank you, Elizabeth.
All the best, sir.